In order to ensure high levels of protection of human health and the environment, Fokker must comply with REACH legislation in phasing out hazardous chemicals. Fokker has therefore started a project to update the chemical treatment facility. This REACH compliance process is developed by Fokker in a small testing line and is suitable for both metal bonding and galvanic processing. The existing G line for galvanic operation and L line for metal bonding operation will be replaced by a combined line, the so-called B line. This combined line will be positioned at the location of the current G line. In order to secure customer deliveries, the factory will remain open during construction activities. Therefore, a phased approach is necessary. Safe working conditions for our suppliers will be ensured by chemically cleaning and flushing the existing G line prior to handover. The technical area between the current G and L lines contains all the utilities equipment needed to support all chemical treatment operations within Hall 94. The G line will be safely disconnected from utilities such as scrubbers, rectifiers, coupling board, and wastewater treatment plant, in short, WWTP. To prevent the construction activities from interfering with operational chemical processes, a temporary wall will be installed. Easy entry to the construction site will be ensured by a temporary access through the facade. This temporary access will also make it possible to use the overhead crane and special hoisting equipment in order to remove the G line piece by piece. Since some of the equipment needs to be reused, special care will be taken to remove and store these items. Compliance with environmental regulations will be ensured by taking soil samples from beneath the concrete cellar prior to demolishing. Since the new B line is wider compared to the existing G line, additional space needs to be created by taking down the firewall between Building 93 and 94. This wall can only be removed after the new steel supporting structure for the overhead crane and wall within Building 93 has been installed. The existing crane span will be reduced. The crane will be reused. Finally, the concrete wall segments can be moved to the new wall. This creates a contained empty area. To provide enough clearance for the new B line, a much bigger concrete cellar is required. Therefore, the old cellar needs to be demolished and removed completely. It is expected that large amounts of soil will be removed and stored, depending on the results of the soil samples. The new B line will need a strong foundation for support, as well as a new concrete cellar. This cellar will be treated with chemical-resistant covering. Required utilities can be installed at their appropriate positions. The new steel supporting structure and runway beams can be installed. The overhead cranes can be mounted. Prefabricated basins can be hoisted and mounted to their designated positions. All required readily available, as well as newly supplied utilities, will then be hooked up to the new B line. This includes new scrubbers, new ducts, piping, wiring, control system, etc. Special care will be taken with regard to the old wastewater treatment plant and connections for chemical transfer. Since the new B line is capable of processing bigger parts, the current monorail system and doors need to be modified prior to commissioning the B line. The current WWTP is capable of dealing with hexavalent chrome, and thus L-line wastewater still needs the old WWTP. Therefore, a brand new WWTP will be installed at a temporary location. The REACH-compliant pre-treatment lines will be disconnected from the old WWTP and reconnected to the new one. The old WWTP will remain operational until the demolishment of the L-line. The L line can be decommissioned in pretty much the same way as the G line. Since all lines by now are REACH compliant, the old wastewater treatment plant has served its course and can finally retire. The new WWTP can then be moved to the position of the old WWTP, which means it needs to fit in the available space left by the old WWTP. A project as complex as this can only be completed successfully when all suppliers are fully aware of the technical complexities and collaborate effectively. In the end, we, as a team, need to be satisfied with the outcome, both financially and technically.